Hey guys, what's going on? So this is going to be a recap of the first 2 weeks of your Sprints and Anchors program. To be honest, this is going to be like the first 30 days. So I'm going to break this up and go into each section. So this will be nice because on YouTube you'll see the little sections. Now the first thing I want to talk about is just acclimation to the program. So when you start, it should take you a full 30 days to get acclimated to the program. What does that mean? What that means is it's going to take you 30 days to understand how to fit these all things and doing a lot of trial and error to make the habit stick. So let's use some of the things that are inside the Fat Loss and Anchors program to go deeper into depth of what exactly that means. So let's start with nutrition. If you are in a fat loss sprint or a recovery, you do have macronutrients, which are a split of proteins, carbs, and fats. These are the energy system. This is the energy your body runs off. You have a certain amount of grams of protein, a certain amount of grams of carbohydrates, and a certain amount of grams of fat. Now, if you are in a fat loss or recovery, the best thing to do is in your first 30 days, just follow if it fits your macros. That means however you can hit those numbers, hit them. Your daily macronutrient number. Example, let's say you have to hit 150 grams of protein and you want to use a burger from McDonald's. Okay, don't care, just don't go over your calories and everything else. This is why this program is so beautiful, because it really can work within the constraints of everything. Now, obviously, I want you to eat clean on your second sprint. Remember, the first 30 days, you are just getting used to it. The key is to not fall off by putting too much pressure on yourself. I'm spending this first sprint period working on which meals work for me, what meals don't work for me, trying to find substitute foods, trying to find the right organization of my meals. It's going to take 30 days to do that. Okay, so I'm not like really hammering if I go over or under my macronutrients. Now, for example, last night I went way over my carbohydrates, like by a lot. And what I'm going to do, so I went over my carbs by about 50 grams. Really easy. So what I'm going to do is today, I'm just going to eat 25 grams less, and tomorrow I'm going to eat 25 grams less. So at the end of the week, my totals still work out. What I mean by my totals is if you take all of your numbers and times them by 7. So for example, let's just arbitrarily make this up. I have 50 grams of protein I'm supposed to hit every day. If I times that by 7, that's 350 grams I've got to eat for the whole week. Let's say I undereat my protein one day. Oh my God, everything's going to be terrible. No, just eat more protein the next day, whatever that number deficit is. Example, so let's say I'm only supposed to be eating 50 grams of carbs a day, and I go over 50. You could do 25 off of the next 2 days. You could do 10 off the next 5 days. I mean, subtracting that number from your carb total for the week. Okay, so if I had 50 grams I'm supposed to be eating every day, times 7 again is 350. 7 times 5 is 35. 350, and I went over 50 last night. All I have to do is resurrect that number, so I just don't go over 350 for the week. I want you to use that same approach, so you don't, if you go overeating, if something comes up, that you don't freak out about it. Just adjust the numbers to make it work using a weekly total. Super easy. Okay, let's go into your workouts now. So no matter what period you're in, you're supposed to be doing a specific amount of workouts per week. What happens if you miss the workouts, an exercise doesn't work for you, yada, yada, yada. What you're trying to do is, remember, all the workouts are movable. Move them so it fits however you want. I've had people do like 4 workouts on one day. Okay, because you have like a long Saturday or something. All the workouts are no more than 20 to 40 minutes. You could technically stack 2 workouts on top of each other if you wanted to. Again, this goes with your schedule and your resources. If you have days that you can get more done, and days like, if there's a harder workout on a Tuesday, move it to a different day. That is what's beautiful about this. You guys can move the workouts. All right, so now let's go into habits. These are the things that drive your program and the most important thing. So a lot of you have specific habits that you need to focus on. And the key to habits is setting up environmental cues that help facilitate the habit to make it really, really easy. You want to make this habit so easy, you could do it terribly hungover, like with your eyes closed, okay? So let me walk you through what I do. 1, I always fill my gallon of water and I put some amino acids to it to make it interesting to drink. And I put that by my front door. Next to my front door are a small lunchbox that has 2 meals and a bunch of snacks in it for me. So I'm on the road usually constantly if I'm not at home doing online business stuff. So what helps me is my cue is after I'm done cooking dinner and I start doing my dishes, I just take some dinner leftovers, pack it for the next day, throw some fruit in there. I usually pack 2 meals. I pack 50% of my macros. That's just what I've always done. So roughly, I mean, I pack about 75 to 100 grams of protein and about the same number of carbohydrates split between just 2 meals, because dinner is easy for me. So what I would do is look at the meals that are always easy for you. Don't focus on that. Most of you are gonna struggle with lunch from 10 to 2 or from 10 to 3. So if you had to focus on one meal to make for yourself, make it the meal that you suck at the most. Start there. Start at your suck point. All right. As for, setting things up for the next day, I can't tell you how important it is to ensure that your sleep hygiene is on point. I'll put a video below that I actually have for my private clients that go through sleep. I just did it like 2 weeks ago. I think that's going to be really helpful for everyone. When we go into the specific habits, so those of you, it doesn't matter where you are in the program, you're going to come across like hydration and sleep and hitting your protein targets. For hydration, do your best to hit the number. Remember, the goal of this, guys, is by the end of 3 sprints. So your first sprint, whether you're doing a fat loss sprint or recovery, you're doing 3 total cycles of that, right? So you're doing a fat loss sprint in June, a fat loss sprint in July, and a fat loss sprint in August. You have 3 tries at this. The first one you're supposed to fuck up. You should be messing up 50% of the time, which means that, if you've got 4 things to do, I've got to train, I got to eat well, and I have 2 habits. Maybe you're training, you ate well, you forgot to drink your water, and you didn't go to bed on time. Or maybe you went to bed on time, you drank your water, but you overate your protein and you skipped your workout. That's 50%. That's where you should be. So I hope this helps you guys out. If you have any questions, please dump them in the group chat below.